So that's super good. Thank you, OBS. We'll come back.
friends have played it like since the first iteration of it, which was a long time ago. It might have been
It's intense. Like I don't get it. So did you get any other games?
yes. I've actually probably spent way too much money on new games, but
No.
I got Breath of the Wild, of course.
It's a staple. Yeah.
Probably like a good chunk of the reason why I bought the Switch to begin with. The one I got came with the newest Pokemon, which another reason why I really wanted it is because I like old school style RPGs, and I realized that the Switch, I keep looking at my Switch. Oh, now that we have video. Yay, my Switch.
We've proven it. You got one.
We've proven it. I'm not the sort of person who's played every single type of every single generation of Pokemon, but I played the original, and I like old school RPGs quite a bit, and this is really like the first one that you get to play in like decent graphics on a big screen, like a traditional Pokemon game. So that's kind of exciting for me in some ways.
Haha! Look at this, and you can see my display now. So when I pop up my window, I should probably put that window in another. Drenzy with the save. Welcome, Drenzy, to the podcast. He's showing our hype emote.
Thanks.
He's got us. There's always some kind of. It's been a technical nightmare so far, Ryan. Oh, excuse me. They changed Zoom somehow, and as soon as we went to start, all of a sudden it stopped working. Like we couldn't record Zoom, and so I'm kind of cheating, just recording my display right now, which is why it looks so ugly compared to normal. Not to say the other one looks okay, because it probably looks silly too, but at least I tried, and I made like a layout. And you could see chat, and I could probably put a chat window over top of us. There, how ugly is that? I don't know if I like that. Anyway, whoops. Now we're all over the place. Okay. So anyway, hey Moose. So we're having all sorts of problems. I'm assuming the update to Zoom was because they were getting their ass handed to us about all the really awful security measures that they have, which anybody could have seen coming who's ever dealt with Zoom. They're kind of a lackluster company, and it's just sexy because it's a thing. Hi, buddy. Going to bed?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be in bed already. Go. Bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye, Ethan.
Love you. Good night. So, I mean, we're all over the place tonight. Special guest appearance by Ethan, my child.
The beginning, you had the special guest appearance of Steven just standing in the doorway in the still.
Frozen. They did not have security measures, Moose, which was exactly the problem. But apparently some update they did made it so I couldn't capture the screen, and then I could, and then I couldn't, and we thought we had it fixed. And then it froze, and you could just see us in weird poses, and
it was lame.
So this is why we got ugly version on tonight, but whatever, it's fine. We're here. We're still doing the thing. We're rocking and rolling it. We just got done talking about Ryan's Switch and how glorious it is. And it was terrible.
It was horrible. Just horrible, man.
Yeah, you're going to have to see a counselor after witnessing the beginning of the podcast. We claim no responsibility for that medical bill, by the way.
He wasn't even the one who told us that the music was still playing the whole time.
Yep. It took like the fifth person to show. So anyway, PTSD. Yep. Yeah. Good luck with that. We apologize, but that's all you're getting from us.
Yes, all right. We will not be held responsible, either legally or emotionally for it.
So here we are, finally on screen and finally chatting, and we just got through the Switch. Time to talk about what we did the last 2 weeks, nothing. I've literally just been sitting in this house in front of this screen. I've been on camera a lot because we use Zoom at work, and we are always on meetings, and we tend to use our cameras a lot too. So I've been sitting in this chair probably 10 hours a day or more, which is awesome. I'm glad I bought a decent chair not too long ago, because for a long time I had a very, very terrible chair, and this would have been a very bad time for me.
Yeah.
We, was there something? Oh, the fun thing we did do, which has only been a little bit most recently, we started playing Sea of Thieves together, which has been fun. We are Pirates of the Mighty Sea, which is something I played a little bit with Spectre Speed back probably right at the beginning of the year. I had like a month or two of free Game Pass through Microsoft, which if you have Game Pass, Sea of Thieves is free. It's on sale for $20 right now, so I just picked it up because I don't have the Game Pass anymore, and because I saw you were playing it and Steven was playing it, and so we were running around last night and the night before, and
yeah,
we had some crazy good times. Last night in particular, I set a highlight up from our channel for that last island we went to when the volcano was erupting, and we're fighting all the pirates and the ships getting destroyed, and it was intense, like 20 minutes where we had no idea if the boat was going to make it. So,
but it did. It was surprising. But
it did.
No, yeah, I'm finding that I just started playing that game earlier this week, and like for being kind of like a quasi MMO that's been around for like a couple of years now.
I want to say it's almost 2 years now.
Yeah, like it kind of went under the radar, probably because it's mainly pushed as an Xbox game, and I mean I have an Xbox, but I haven't really followed much of anything Xbox wise in forever. But it's a fun game.
Well, not to put puns, because the game's full of rocks. I don't know if it's really technically a pun, but it had a rocky start where it was kind of void of content when it came out. Like the idea was good and it was kind of cheap and it was part of the Game Pass thing.
Mhm.
So like people played it. It got some traction, but it really didn't have a lot. If I recall, I didn't play it early, but
Mhm.
they've put a solid amount of development work into that game for the last 2 years. There seems to be a decent amount of stuff to do, and varying challenges and harder islands, and they just released a new expansion pack for a whole nother section of the map. So there are it's got enough in there. I don't think it's a game I would play all the time. Like it would be nice
No,
to come back and visit. There's not really progression per se, which is kind of weird
I mean
because it's
it
just
is.
like cosmetic unlocks and stuff that you get money for. There's not really like skills that you're building or anything like that. But
Yeah. In that regard, there's not really progression. There is kind of a quasi store or story slash. It's not really even story. I mean, kind of is, but it's more of a reputation grind, um, where you get missions. And so far, I've not really experienced too much of that grind because the two groups I've played with have. Well, the first night, you, me, and Steven just played for a while without Spectre, was kind of like the beginning of the grind, if you will. But
yep.
like most of the time, I've been playing with people who have these crazy high reputations, get the crazy high voyages or whatever. And so like I basically have gone from 0 to 20 like level 20 reputation wise in like 3 days, just because I'm running around with these people and getting crap ton of money and crap ton of everything just by tagging along, which
I would say
kind
that's
of broken a little bit in
yeah.
that regard, I think, but it is what it is.
I would say that's probably close to my experience, except for Spectre's the only one I know, and he's pretty decked out. I don't know if he's sweaty, but he's pretty sweaty, and he trolls too hard for us to stay focused. Like last night was the most questing we've ever done. So, welcome from Washington. If that's the Deb I know, hello. It's good to see you. And
Hola.
it's it's he just wants to go around and try to find people and fight them and like blow stuff up. So it's still a lot of fun. You can make a lot of it what you want. It's a fairly in depth game for the considering everything's simple,
Yeah.
but when you combine all the simple stuff, it's quite difficult, especially when the boat's catching fire and like water's coming in and you got a leviathan attacking or a volcano exploding next to you, or it's pretty fun. It's good stuff.
Yeah. And I'm a little curious because I know they're going to release it on Steam here pretty soon, and I'm kind of curious if they're still going to have cross platform play and stuff like that, and how that will work if
They
it
probably
does.
will. I mean, that's kind of a thing now. So you're seeing that with a lot more games.
Perhaps cross platform isn't the right word for it so
But
much
with
as
Xbox Live,
like being able to join with like Xbox Live friends and whatnot in a party, or whether you'll still need to
they'll probably
play it.
force you to have like a Xbox account, but you might not have to have gold if you have a license through there. I don't know how that's going to work because right now
I'm
you have to have
curious.
gold to play online. So, Jerenzi wants to talk about Doom Eternal. So I wasn't ignoring you. I just wanted to get through that part. I still have not played it. I mentioned this a little bit last podcast. I did get a refund finally. I accidentally bought the European lock version of Doom. So I thought I was getting a deal. Nope,
Not
not
so
so
much.
much. So the refund is happening. Apparently, I should see that in the next like I don't know, probably 8 days now. And so I do not have a copy of Doom. I do very much want to play it. It looks amazing, and from what I've heard from you, Drenzy, it has been absolutely amazing. So that hypes me up even more. So I'm super excited to get into it. I will tell you, I did finally, since Moose is also sitting here, I finally picked up a copy of Escape from Tarkov, the loading screen inventory simulator. And
That
that
sounds like fun.
game is intense. Does not hold your hand at all. And Tetris with guns. It's exactly what it's like. It is super intense. I've tried like 3 or 4 scav runs and 1 or 2 raids, and they have not gone well. it is it is a beast of a game. So Moose has offered to give me a little bit more detailed introduction to the game, or orientation, if you will. So I'm gonna take him up on that because it's not something you can just jump into and run and gun because it's crazy. Yeah, we will. We'll have to do that pretty quick here at some point. So we're on video games still. Any other video game news? You said you've been playing more. Is it mostly just Switch or?
Yeah, I mean Xbox and Switch. I've also got some buddies who have been, some Animal Crossing. Not that I'm very far into it. I just got my Switch on Saturday, and I've got a crap ton of games. So Animal Crossing, while fun, has not been the primary focus. But it's I'm basically logging in and doing my dailies, if that makes sense.
Sounds like a mobile game to me.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think I would say that too loudly, but yes, yeah, I mean, essentially.
Don't at me, bro. Animal Crossing's weak. Get a real game. I'm just kidding. Love what you want, man. It's cool. Everything's cool. All right.
It's
Well,
fun.
I don't really have any other video game stuff. We haven't really been. I'm still grinding Apex and a little bit of Modern Warfare. Nobody's really been on lately, so
I'm quasi putting a 4-man group together to go back on the Xbox and play Left 4 Dead 2 just for fun because everybody's at home and
during the apocalypse.
during the apocalypse. And like that, I mean, I've always liked the Left 4 Dead games, and I haven't played them in years. And I was just talking with some buddies and who are play more Xbox than PC, and they were like, "Well, do you guys have Left 4 Dead?" And I was like, "No, but I can get it."
Yeah. Left 4 Dead is amazing. I've had it
It is.
on the PC at least for a long time.
Yeah, the PC I've had it forever.
And I haven't really played it in forever. I will say though, I played a decent amount of Vermintide 2, which is a Warhammer 40k ripoff of Left 4 Dead, where there's the classes and you have special abilities per class or whatever. So like you got your gym teacher or something, could be the dwarf, I don't know, whatever the comparisons are, and then you go into basically it's kind of a shooter on rails, but not really. And you go through and there's just hordes and hordes of bad guys. Chosens show up and like bigger and badder, and they have different abilities. And these rats with poison Gatling guns and stuff show up, and you're just running through this very much like Left 4 Dead, where there's just tons of zombies. These are just hordes of bad guys. Now, only obviously it's medieval, and you have swords and bows and arrows and things, and a fire mage.
Was it Warhammer or Warhammer 40k?
Oh no, sorry, not 40k, just Warhammer.
Just Warhammer. Okay.
Yes.
I was a little confused suddenly. I was like, oh. Okay.
I was just watching a 40k thing, and so I have that on the brain. But no, this is just regular Warhammer. It's called Vermintide 2. They made obviously 2 of them. I've only really played the second one, but it's super fun. If you like Left 4 Dead and you ever want to jump on, I don't know if it's cheap now. It's been out a year at least. So
I feel like I've seen it, but one of the things that I've always enjoyed, and I say always, like I said, I haven't really played it in years, but with Left 4 Dead, I like when you actually get a larger group together where you have like 8 people and you do the versus mode. Where like basically somebody's just like one team is just running through the level like it's co-op, like normal co-op playthrough, and then the other team basically spawns as like the specialty zombies. Yeah. So like one might be a smoker, and one might be the blob,
witch or whatever. What's the screamer?
Yeah. I don't know if you get to be the witch. Maybe you do. I guess it would make sense that you did. But yeah, like that's the one gameplay of Left 4 Dead that I feel like people don't really experience. But it's pretty fun when you actually have like a group that you can do that with. It's a good time.
Yeah, they don't have that mode in Vermintide, but yes, I agree that is a good time. I have not played in a long time though, and unfortunately, they'll never go back and make that crossplay. So if we did want to, I'm sure that's not a thing because people sucked back in the day. But thankfully, that's starting to go away with all the major titles starting to get crossplay.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing finally some of the benefit of Microsoft having, both Windows and Xbox, which is taking a long time for that. But
well, even the major titles, like if you look at Fortnite, for example, it's crossplay from the Switch to the PlayStation to the Xbox and the PC. All of them. So it's not even a Windows thing. It's like They're making it work, and several of them are starting to do that. And I mentioned a while ago I had started playing the beta for Spellbreak. Same thing there. It's going to work across place. It's not going to be on the Switch, but it'll be on the other 3 platforms, and everybody can play together. So you're starting to see a lot more of that, which is good. I think they should.
That's good.
Modern Warfare, yeah, the Warzone. I'm always seems to be a lot of PlayStation people. I don't know why, but whenever I play Warzone and I pick up randos, they're almost always on PlayStation. Handful Xbox. Very few PC people I get matched up with, which is kind of interesting.
It is.
But yeah, you're seeing that all over the place, and I think that's smart. It's good. There's no reason not to. If you have a very competitive game, then obviously in the competitive modes, you're going to want to restrict that to the platforms because there are inherent differences between them.
Yeah. I mean, even, yeah. I was going to say definitely at least with PC versus some of the other ones where you have your mouse and keyboard versus a controller. But
yeah, PlayStation versus Xbox wouldn't be probably so big of a deal, depending on assuming they're all running the same 60 frames or whatever they're locked to.
Yeah.
But frame rates matter in very competitive games, and then the controllers themselves matter. So, like versus a mouse and keyboard, for sure matters. And
yeah, especially shooters.
And it gets really weird because if you have something like Apex Legends, for example, has an extremely strong aim assist for controller users. So it can even be messed up the other way, where there's actually a lot of complaints in Apex Legends that controller users can actually have the upper hand versus mouse and keyboard because the aim assist is so strong in that game that it makes it very hard for them to miss. And you watch gameplay between the two and you can almost just see it without even having a trained eye sometimes how people on console get away with things that you just do not get away with mouse and keyboard. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic.
So you're saying when I get into Apex I should download it for the Xbox?
Yes, you might want to. Nobody plays Apex anymore, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it, except for me and Spectre Speed apparently. What else? Any other video games? I tried to find some more mobile games, and the only thing I found so far is the Nintendo Mario Kart.
Is it on mobile?
It is,
On
and
your phone?
it's pretty decent. So, Drenzy, we'll Apex anytime you want. I'll end this call right now, and we'll just go play. Let's do it.
I'll just go pirate. It'll be fine. Euchre 3D.
Yeah, so they have so Mario Kart is now on. So this I think it's kind of the same idea as they did with Mario Run, which is super fun for at least a little while if you have a mobile phone. Unfortunately, you do have to pay like basically the $10 to unlock the full game, but it's pretty much worth it. And then Mario Kart, I haven't seen the paywall yet, but I've been having a good time just driving around as Toad. It's super simplified version of the game, and it's portrait mode, and you just one hand it. It's super fun.
It works.
Ooh,
Especially
new gear. What'd you end up buying for the video card, Bro Mandingo? I know you were looking for one. Ryan, for those who can't read the chat because we're not recording on the screen, was looking for some new gear. And we all like Euchre. We're mostly Michiganders here, so it's like a requirement to live in the state. 460. I don't know if I know which one that is. I don't do AMD anymore. If it's not a 9800 Pro from 2003 or whatever, then I don't want to deal with it. You hate Euchre? Are you just saying that to troll me, or do you really hate Euchre? Because that's kind of crazy to me.
Euchre is one of the better games.
I don't play it nearly enough, but it is definitely something that is in my blood. Well, that's you're allowed to be wrong.
You're allowed. I think for a lot of people, like a lot of times it comes down to how you learned it and who it was who you played it with. Because it is kind of a weird game that just has weird rules, and then there are some people who just the moment you start playing it, it's like their life, and the moment you do something stupid, they start tearing into you, and it's like, combination of it all. But
It's fine. Everything's fine.
it's all fine.
It's all fine. Uh, I almost wonder if you need to explain what Euchre is. If anybody outside the state ever watches this, I don't know how widespread Euchre is. I know I've heard of people taking it outside of the state and showing it to people, and usually their first expression is, "What the hell is this?" But then they eventually warm up to it. And it's fun, but I don't know if other states really get into Euchre.
um,
So you're from the South, like, did they even hear of it? Like, did you ever hear the phrase before you showed up to Michigan? Better Made and Fago are definitely Michigander props.
things.
So like,
Yep.
good. Do you drink Verner's? That's also a thing that we do. I'm not a huge ginger ale fan, but Verner's is a thing. Rummy's all over the place. So everybody's heard of Rummy. Yeah, Euchre is a strangely Michigan thing.
It's this will make some sense to some people, and it will make no sense to other people. But you basically play with half of a pinochle deck.
Yep.
So whatever that means to you. And basically it's just a game where you go around and you decide what is trump as far as what suit. And you just try to take the most tricks.
It's
But
a partner game.
it's a partner game.
It's 2v2. And yeah, you gotta normally there's the suit thing is the most important part of the game. So if there is a mechanism that determines what the trump, like you said, suit is, which means that suit will always win if it's ever played. But the trick is whoever starts the hand, whatever the suit they lay, you have to follow if you can. So if I lay hearts down and everybody on the table has hearts, they have to lay heart as well. And then it's whatever one has the highest card. And then there's a bunch of weird stuff with the trumps and the bowers and
it's very similar to Pinochle, but it's very simplified compared to Pinochle, in that sense.
I just like to say Pinochle.
Pinochle. Which I haven't played Pinochle in probably 20 plus years, so
I don't think I've
my
ever
reference
played
on
Pinochle.
that side of it.
Solitaire, baby.
Woo.
Only if it's on like a Windows 95 machine.
There you go. Or 3.1. I play Solitaire on 3.1.
Windows XP Pinball, the one level free edition.
I did play a good amount of that.
I've played some of that. Do you remember, since we're getting into weird, where are we going with this podcast? Do you remember the ski game in Windows 95, yes, 98, or 3.1?
I think that was 3.1, yeah.
I think it survived into 95, but
it may have.
They had a ski game, Microsoft ski game, and like every once in a while, the Abominable Snowman or whatever Yeti guy would run out of the woods and gobble you up. Oh my god, that game was so fun.
It was pretty epic.
Used to have a lot of fun with that game.
It was very epic. And then, of course, you have Minesweeper, which I don't know if anybody else did this, but as a kid, I had no idea what Minesweeper was or how it worked. And so it was just that game that every once in a while I'd get bored with everything on my computer and just open it and start clicking and not know what it was. And then just I'd hit a bomb and I'd be like, okay, that was cool. And then close out of it.
That was pretty much my first 100 rounds of Minesweeper. And then somebody explained to me what the numbers were. And I was like, oh.
And then once you knew it, you were like, oh, I can play this. And then
there's still a lot of randomness for the beginning. The worst part is when you launch that thing up and like the first one you click's a bomb. Was what? How? That's always fun.
And now I'm just thinking of all of the DOS-based games that I used to play back in the day.
We talk about that at one point. My first computer was a Tandy TX 1000 TX. It just ran DOS. And I want to say it was 286, 386, somewhere in there. And
probably
yeah,
286.
We ran a hell of a lot of DOS games on that bad boy. Space Quest, and what was the dragon version of that? Was it just called Dungeon Quest?
Probably.
Anyway, those were they were one step up from text adventures. So you had a visual display and you'd walk around, but when you walked up to something, you had to actually type into the window, like look at bookshelf, and then it would do something on the screen. It was It was quite impressive in those
Yeah.
games. And we used to play a game called Thexter, which was a side-scrolling shooter game where you're like a robot turned into a jet. Those were the days. They don't make them
They
like they used
were.
to.
No, so my first computer was a Commodore 64. Like when I was like 3 years old or something, my dad got a Commodore, and so like I kind of grew up with that one. But
Sure.
yeah, like we had Zork, which is of course like the classic text-based adventure game, which when you're like 6 years old is meaningless to you. You like
Right.
load it up and you're like, Dad, this game sucks. Why are we
What
even
are
having
these
this game?
words?
It's like, give me something different. But like, yeah, we had all the Commodore 64 games, which were basically like the early DOS games. And then in like the early 90s, we got our first real computer, like a Windows computer. And I played all of basically our family was not, I mean, we weren't rich. And I wouldn't say that we were poor, but we definitely, my parents were very frugal with money. So basically, all of the games we had were shareware games. Um, so
That's
like
fair.
played the crap out of like the original side-scrolling Duke Nukem, all the Commander Keen games from back in the day. Um, yeah, there's just a ton of them, and those are always super fun.
Snood. Has anyone ever played Snood? I love that damn game. I don't think I've ever even heard of Snood.
Yeah, I don't know what that is
I'm gonna
either.
go ahead and try it. Oh, it looks like it was a Peggle type clone. We have the
Yeah.
blaster with the dot and the bricks. They look like faces. That's nope. I've never never even heard of that game. I just linked the first level of walkthrough of Space Quest because if you have never seen that game, it's epic AF.
The Quest games are pretty great. The first Quest game I think I ever played was Police Quest,
Please, I
like
haven't even
Police
heard of
Quest
that.
3. Um, Snake.
You're aging me like hardcore there with that one. Snake on my dad's old Nokia brick phone,
Rick.
which was my first out of high school phone that I bought when I was 18. Son, is that you?
Listen, boy.
uh, was it
Oh
King's
yes.
Quest?
Yeah, there was Space Quest, King's Quest, Police Quest. Included in with those were the Leisure Suit Larry
Oh god,
games,
yeah.
but they were not officially quests because obviously they were for a different market.
Yeah, it must have been King's Quest or something then.
Which
Because
they
I
kind of
had I
have
had
them.
both of those, and they were oh yeah, King's Quest. Here it is. I'm looking at a screenshot right now, and yeah, that yep. I remember you had to start that game by finding the damn pig that ran away. So it was something, Dad. Um. Okay, so anyway, this 40-minute tangent. We haven't got to anything we normally get to. So anyway, we'll take this as a little break before we move on to like the news and highlights and stuff of things we normally go over. Which whatever we don't get to it, we don't get to it. It's fine. Um, if you're wondering why the screen looks all goofy, it's because Zoom sucks. Because some people have joined us and they broke Zoom, so I had to hack it a little bit to get it to operate. So it doesn't look like its cool self anymore. Hopefully, we'll get that fixed for the next one. But whatever update they did
Hopefully.
broke it. So I also take this to let you know if you aren't following us already, or at least following me, because I don't really have Ryan's links down below, but you can follow me and you'll find Ryan or whatever. YouTube
I'm
channel,
around.
my Twitter and Instagram feed. Watch those because if you can't watch this whole video because we're on for 2 hours and I get it, though with COVID going around, you have nothing better to do, so you should be sitting here. I'll upload this to YouTube over the next couple days, and you can always come back and watch over things if you want. And I put the little timestamps in there, so if you want to skip to different subjects, we're cool with that. We don't really care how you consume it; it's fine, and it's all good. And if you're a Amazon Prime member and you want to support the stream at all, you get a free Twitch Prime sub, which may sound like gibberish to anybody who's not used to Twitch. But I'll put a link to what it is. If you have Amazon Prime, you can actually subscribe to our channel for free, which gives us a couple extra bucks a month. You have to come back every month and resubscribe, but Yep. If you just got it laying around, we'll take it. Helps us buy lights and stuff. It helps. It helped buy all of the video game or the board game setup that we have. I finally have that we cannot use because COVID. I've been teasing the board game setup for months that I was going to get that set up, and I think I have it ready to go, but we have not been able to play with it because right as I got it finalized and ready to go, and we were starting to play in a day, we got put into lockdown by our overlords, so that they can come up with a reason to inject us with trackers that they'll disguise as a. No, I'm just kidding.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, I was watching memes about Bill Gates coming up with the virus so that you'd have an excuse to inject you with a vaccine that would actually put a 5G radio receiver in you so that you could then be tracked by the government. It was pretty good. It was a good meme. And it's probably true, so it's fine. It's fine. I, for one, accept our evil overlord, Bill Gates.
I don't know if I accept. I just kind of casually accept. Oh yeah, accept.
Change the battery in the birds. Change the battery in the birds. Yeah, there's a fun theory that I want a tracker. Why you lose yourself a lot? You just call up the NSA. Where am I? The theory that Moose is alluding to is that there's actually no birds. They are all just spy drones for the government.
All the North American birds have been destroyed.
So,
I will say, speaking of board games and a lot of people being stuck inside and not able to do things, I get no money for saying this, which is unfortunate. Steam, give me money. But Steam has a family and friend bundle on sale right now, which is basically a whole bunch of board game, like an app version that has a 63% discount on it, where you get like Ticket to Ride, Splendor, Carcassonne, Mysterium, Gloom, a Munchkin game, like a whole bunch of stuff, all for really cheap.
I have Splendor, and I wonder if they work cross, because that sounds awesome. People should get that if you don't, because all those are cool. They also have that sale for the company that does Terraforming Mars and Scythe, which I bought. So for $36, you get Small World 2, Scythe, and Terraforming Mars, and 2 other games that I didn't really know. But Splendor and Ticket to Ride, I believe, were free on the Epic Game Store like a month ago or something. Yeah. So I have those on Epic as well. So I wonder if you have that, I wonder if we can play them
back and forth. Probably. But like, obviously, for anybody of you guys who've been watching these in the past, I'm a pretty big board game person, as you can tell from the stack of things back.
Giant mountain of board games behind you.
But most of the apps are actually pretty decent, like the app versions of the games. So like if you guys are even just looking to kill time, it's a pretty good way to get a pretty good collection pretty cheap. And if you get the one with like Terraforming Mars and other stuff like that, especially the more complicated board games, it's almost nicer sometimes to have them. And
that sets it up, tears it down. And I did play through the tutorial for Terraforming Mars, even though I've played it once, right? Once. I don't know if we played it twice.
I think we played it once or twice, at least once.
And it does a pretty good job walking you through how the game runs too the first time. It holds your hand, which is nice, because I needed the refresher. And we should definitely have a night where we stream that and get a couple people on Terraforming Mars. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we could. I think it goes up to 5 people. So I mean, it's very long if you go up to 5 people, but yeah, it might be a good stream.
Do you ever use Tabletop Simulator?
I have it. I've played around with it.
Because it's also $10 right now.
I've never actually played any games with anybody in it.
That was what Otis was saying the other night. We were talking about how Tabletop Simulator was $10, and he said he's never been able to load a game into it, and I didn't know what that meant.
I've been able to load games into it. Basically what happens is you buy Tabletop Simulator, and then all of the individual games that you would play in it, either you can program it yourself, which is a pain in the butt and not anything I want to do. And then because it's on Steam, you basically have the Steam Workshop stuff, and you can download other people's pre-set up stuff of games. And sometimes they have like the official release of games on it as well. Usually you pay for those ones, of course.
Yeah, I was wondering how because every once in a while I'll see somebody play some officially licensed. I keep cracking my cherry. Sorry about that, podcast. I see some officially licensed, like looks really good version of the game on Tabletop Simulator on YouTube or something, and
Hmm.
I always wonder how they're getting away with that, but I assume they are licensing somehow.
It's very common, actually, for like Kickstarter games to release a official version of the Kickstarter game, or at least maybe not the full game, because a lot of times the Kickstarter board games aren't fully designed. But they'll usually, by the time they go to Kickstarter, they'll have a simple prototype with like an early version of the game, and they'll usually put that on Tabletop Simulator, so people who are interested in supporting the Kickstarter can actually like get a little bit of an idea of what it's like to play it, which I think is pretty cool if you're able to do that. Especially campaign type games.
Oh, Mysterium's on here. Moose, weren't you just talking about that in the last podcast, or one of them? We were talking about Mysterium. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, we were talking about it. I think it was Moose. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a virtual one. We should get this bundle, and we can have a Mysterium night.
We can all play Mysterium.
It looks like, yeah, for $38, there's several. Most of these I haven't heard of. So obviously, Ticket to Ride, Splendor, Carcassonne I have, and there's a Munchkin game.
Yeah, that's their
I
like
don't,
Munchkin
I don't think
board
this is like.
game.
I was gonna say this isn't Munchkin though.
No, the Quacked Quest, I think, is a board game that it's based off of. Obviously, if you look
Gotcha.
at screenshots, though, it's very
Board
videoed.
game-ish.
Yeah. I've played most of these. I haven't played Le Havre, but that's supposedly a really good game. Um, I have not played Mileborns. I don't even know what that is. I don't think that's a board game. Gloom. I know some people who really like Gloom. I've not played it. Taken Noko is an interesting game. Yeah, and that's just one. Like you were saying too, Adam. There's some other discounts or bundles for like a different set of board games.
I am excited
Although,
to do Terraform Mars if we get some people to do that. Like, I would love to play that game again. I really enjoyed it. And it's Scythe. I hear Scythe is really good. And I've never played that, so I'd be happy to play the virtual version.
you mean Scythe?
Yes, right
I'm
above,
gonna stop trying to point. There it is,
right above
right
your
here.
head. Yes, that is definitely one I'd be interested in.
It's a pretty solid game. It looks like it is a war game, and there is definitely an element of war to it. But it is a much more Euro resource-driven game than just strictly a war game. Actually, the war element of it is strangely limited, but it's a fun game. It's a good game.
Nice. Board games are fun. I miss them. Hey, Mindy.
Hi, so Mandy,
We
do you
need.
have them as apps to play with us? Is that what you're saying, Mindy?
We miss real people. We want to have a game night, but
Yes.
you know, social distancing and all that.
Social pooping.
Nope. It's
Not
not,
it.
not
That
what
was
it is
not
at
it
all.
at all. That's the opposite.
Let's, this is not like a old Rome communal toilet area. All right. So what else we got? We've been just ad-libbing this whole time. I do have some notes.
That's one step better than me this week.
Oh, good. Uh, so most of the COVID related stuff, sad news, because we seem to be having a lot of these in the podcast, is the lady, and I'm gonna forget her name. It's Blackman or something. Should probably click on this. Yeah, Honor Blackman. She played Pussy Galore in James Bond. 94 died.
One of the great named ladies from
Yeah,
James Bond
absolutely
movies.
fantastic. We've talked about James Bond because it's awesome, and that's sad to see another person go. But I just thought I'd bring that up because it was on CBR or something. Seems every time I'm opening their app, some old person from some awesome movie I love died, which sucks. On a brighter note, they also had a really stupid article, and I don't get into these very often, but it caught my mind or my eye, which then obviously caught my mind because they are connected.
Mm-hmm.
In that,
Very directly.
very, very directly, They were identifying which DC superhero you are based on Zodiac sign.
Good Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Good Lord. Which is, I was like, why is this a thing? So
Which weird Facebook link did you click to get there?
it was just on CBR.
Uh,
Would you like to know who you are as a Pisces?
Tell me who I am. Wait, let me guess. So, is it just basically mainstream ones?
Yeah, mostly.
I'm like
Yep.
okay. I'm gonna guess that. Does it include villains?
Nope. These are
Just
superheroes.
just superheroes? Okay.
And it's like main Justice League characters. Except for there is a Booster Gold in here.
Ooh, Pisces are definitely
And
not Booster
a
Gold.
John Constantine. So
Ooh.
there's a Raven, Robin. Do you want all the choices and you can
Yeah.
pick?
Give me the options. Give me the
Okay,
options.
Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Superman, Robin, Batman, Flash, Booster Gold, Black Canary, Green Lantern, and John Constantine.
Cyborg was not one of them.
Cyborg was that one of them? Is that what you wanted?
If I was going to guess randomly, I was almost going to guess him, but that he actually isn't very Pisces-like either. I'm going to guess either Robin or Flash.
You are wrong, sir. You are Wonder Woman.
All right. Oh, that's fine.
Now, would you like to guess who I am?
I don't. What is your sign again? I don't.
I am a Scorpio.
That makes sense. What would a
Makes
Scorpio be?
It makes a lot of sense. If you're into that type of thing.
If you're into it. I'm going to say, see, that's weird to me because I would have thought that a Scorpio may have been Wonder Woman. So that's weird. But, Hal Jordan.
Nope.
Green Lantern. No.
I'm Batman.
Well, let me. You're Batman.
I'm Batman. Cool.
But which Green Lantern is it?
It looked like
John Stewart or Hal Jordan? Okay.
Let me go back. I can't tell from this photo now that I'm looking at it again.
Well, either he's white or he's black.
Well, to be fair, it's weird coloring with a lot of green light, and I can't tell completely, but I'm going to guess it's Hal Jordan. So Batman is intelligent, obsessive, admirable, and can be a jerk.
All right.
Which sounds a lot like me. Often misunderstood because they're intense and harsh personalities. So, that's me. So there you go. I'm Batman. You're Wonder Woman.
I would like to note that I continually end up going back and forth between Newsarama and CBR for my comic book news. And I feel like over the years, they'll go through swings where CBR will get increasingly horrible with like clickbait and just non-substantial stuff. And at that point, Newsarama will suddenly start like being really good. And then suddenly I'll just keep going to Newsarama, and then Newsarama will start getting really clickbaity and stupid. And then I'll find my way back to CBR, and CBR will have all these really in-depth cool stuff. And now I feel like they're both just crap. And
all sites are clickbait. It's the only way people get any views, and they get investors and stuff, and it sucks. But it sucks. So yeah, that was very clickbaity. I would like to note that Wonder Woman and Batman have had a pretty interesting relationship over the years, so it kind of makes sense that we're good buddies.
Yeah.
So that's the garbage link I had in here.
Did they give the Wonder Woman like description, like passion and blah blah?
Oh, I didn't read it at all. I just
that's fine.
I was more worried about myself.
That's fair.
How
do you feel?
You are a fearless leader.
Yeah.
I don't know. Represents those who feel voiceless. They're stubborn, caring, outgoing.
God damn it.
So I don't know. Maybe they got it wrong. I'm just kidding. So what else we got? COVID news. Diamond is doing some interesting thing, which is another really good example how the market adjusts to these things without being told by our overlords. They are actually going to give 25% out to publishers even during times where things aren't going out, because they've canceled a lot of all of their deliveries from the last time we talked, and their leadership people are going to take 50% pay cuts to help cover that while things go on, so they can continue hopefully supporting and paying the industry, because a lot of this industry obviously, if you don't talk about Marvel, who's made
Mm,
billions just being bought out and all this stuff, but if you're actually a comic book store, you run on pretty thin margins, and the publishers
yeah.
and stuff, like, a lot of them don't have that type of money. So the fact that the industry is pulling together and doing everything they can to help support them. Rob Layfield actually has been doing some huge auctions on his Instagram account and sending those monies to comic book stores that are struggling right now, just to help try to pay bills for a month or two before things start getting a little bit back to normal. So
Yeah.
it's super cool that the industry is trying to keep itself going, and some of the bigger guns in the industry are trying to support people, which is super cool. I was super bummed because I saw him doing this. I was like, oh, I could watch something. It's Rob Layfield. He's obviously super famous. Like him or don't, obviously there's a lot of people that hate his art style. Whatever, those people can jump off a bridge because
And a lot of people who don't care for him personally
he
very
is
much.
he's a bit much. Whatever, it's fine.
It is fine.
But take it or leave it, he's done some incredible things. For those who don't know, he created Deadpool and Cable and some pretty iconic characters, and he really was like a punk rock star of the comic book world in the 90s. So it's kind of he's an interesting dude. But he made this awesome drawing of All Might from My Hero Academia, which, if you've been listening to me at all this podcast, I've been completely obsessed with. And I was like,
As you
that's
should be.
super cool. Like, I want that. And then the very first um, bid I saw was $700. I was like, I don't want that. I do. I'm glad he's able to raise that type of money, because that could pay
Yeah.
for, like, help pay for rent for a month for some comic book stores, depending where they're at. But
Yeah.
it was super cool. The Layfield All Might was super cool. And if you haven't been watching My Hero Academia, you're a failure.
It is. I like anime. Well, I like animes probably more than I usually let on. But when it comes to animes, I clearly understand that there are some that are just for anime people, and then there are some animes that are just really good. And My Hero Academia is really good.
Yeah, I keep talking about it. I finally finished everything that Funimation had, so I made it through all 4 seasons. The last four, well, I don't remember. I don't think the season's done yet, but the last 4 episodes I watched were all in Japanese because they
You
hadn't
actually
even
watched them
translated them.
subbed.
I went as far as watching the subs, which we've also
Wow.
described that I don't do a lot of subs because I have 4 kids and my life is busy, and when I'm watching it, I tend to be doing multitasking. But I was so obsessed I had to watch those subs, and My Hero Academia is just so good. It never fucking fails. They will introduce the most ridiculous character, and they will end up being awesome by the time they leave the show. So the last
Yeah.
arc that I watch, I don't know how far you've gone into it, and this isn't
I
spoiler because it
just
was kind of a
started the
weird side
most
plot.
recent season.
Okay, so there's this weird side plot with a criminal, and he's a total goofball when you first meet him, but by the end of it, you just, like, you respect the guy, like. And it does this with every freaking character. Every character shows up, you think, man, this guy's a goofball, this is gonna be stupid. And anime does that. So if you think that while you're watching the show, if you have any history with anime at all, they always are throwing in these just big blubbery idiots that come out of nowhere and are over the top goofballs, just for, like, comic relief or to, like, lighten the tone or whatever. There's only, like, one character in the entire show that has that, and it's this little purple grape guy. And even then, he has some redeeming qualities, but he's the only one. Every single other one, and there is hundreds of characters in the show, even the villains, every time you think a villain's just going to do classic villain stupid stuff, they don't. Like,
Yeah.
they write every character to be almost the best they could be, and try to put them in this comic or this anime. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Like, I just can't get over it. Like, it's the most well written character anime, maybe show I've ever watched. Like, it's absolutely out of control. And I'll pause right there and say, great, Matt, thank you so much for that subprime. I really appreciate that. Helps support the channel. 2 months. That's amazing. You now get the little amp sign next to your name and access to my emotes. Chat, can we get a little love for Great Matt here? Let's go with some hype. Anybody's got that? So yeah, My Hero Academia is just amazing. I've been on an anime kick again, so this may end up another anime episode, but I'm 5 episodes away from ending Dragon Ball Super now.
Wow, you've made quite a ways through there then.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of it. It's quite good. So if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I mean, it's jumped the shark so way back in Z, but it doesn't care. It's unapologetic. It's just like we are literally in a tournament with the god of all universes above us fighting for survival. It's so
Is that after the Goku Black thing or before the Goku?
that's part of it. Well, so the tournament of the 12 realms or whatever, I don't know what their official moniker for it is, but the different universes fighting each other is the last arc of the show. But Super involves Goku Black, which is a really good arc, like really good. And it has Trunks, which I really like. So Vegeta is absolutely my favorite character. It is Future Trunks.
Just to clarify, as opposed to
yeah. So little Trunks is running around, whatever. But this is a Future Trunks thing, which if you're a DBZ fan, going into Frieza stuff like or coming out of the Frieza saga is a super cool thing that you get exposed to. So this is another arc with Future Trunks, which is super well done. You get this like evil Goku Black character, which is super cool. That whole arc is super fun, and then they end up the last arc that we're in now is this tournament for every one of the 12 universes that exist brought a set of, I don't remember if it's 10 fighters or whatever it is, but if they all get knocked out, then their universe gets snapped out of existence by the deity of all deities. So it's intense. So this is where they start to introduce Ultra Instinct, and he's being trained by the destroyer god of the 7th universe, which is what we are, which is all crazy. So
well, is it what we are, or are we universe different number? Because I don't see no Saiyans flying around our Earth.
well, we as in the people watching Goku. So if you are witnessing Goku, their universe is 7. So yeah, I don't know what we are. I don't think we're canon.
We are Universe Prime.
Ryan and Adam are not canon. I also finished Castlevania season 3, which I don't think I had done last time we talked. Super good if you really like some violent, good. Well, it's Castlevania based. The stories are tight and small, which is really nice. I like that. And when they don't like, I'm saving the universe, which is funny coming from Dragon Ball because it's as large scale as possible to just this little tiny like. Yeah, so great man. If you've been watching those and you've been enjoying them, season 3 is good. I really enjoyed watching it. It's definitely worth it. And then what else have I been watching? Oh, I watched through. So we are fans of Altered Carbon. We've talked about it on the show multiple times. Yes. The last time we had a show episode, I complained about how season 3, which I still have not finished, it's been a slog. I like it. The first season's amazing. Not great on the book. Right. I'm just saying first season was awesome. Didn't line up with the books great, but the show was fine. I liked it. I can forgive it for that. But season 2 is off the rails. Like the book doesn't, like there's hints of the book. It doesn't matter. So I was like, well, I'll try the anime out because Netflix also just released a short anime, like handful of episodes, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It unfortunately plays a lot to what season 2 is doing with the storyline, and it tries to feed off of what season 1 got wrong and then help set up kind of the idea of going into season 2, which is all off the rails. So as a book fan, it's fine. It's worth a watch. It's in that weird like cell shaded kind of 3D animation, which I find distracting in animes, and a lot of people don't do it, and I think that's why. But I can't get in. It was fine. I watched it. I watched the whole thing, so it must have been okay. Ryan says Ozark is the best show ever besides Breaking Bad. Fight me. I will not fight you. I loved Breaking Bad. That is a fantastic show, but I've not watched Ozark. I think my wife, if she's listening, she could chime in, but I think she tried it out or was looking at it, and she seemed to think it was all right. I don't know how far she got into it. And then The Wire. I never watched The Wire either. I'm a terrible TVsman. Yes.
Apparently. Apparently. I don't think I've seen any of those. So there you go. I started Breaking Bad once because everybody talked about how great it was, and it was good. And I got like 3 episodes in. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I am somebody who, if I'm watching something, like I don't mind if it's dark, but I don't like committing. I don't know, like 40 hours of my life to something that's just going to make me feel depressed when it's all said and done. So like 3 episodes into Breaking Bad, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I need to watch this
It's
anymore.
a roller coaster ride, right? So it does this
I
thing.
understand that. I
It's
understand
not depressing the whole time, but it ends up being depressing. So that's fair. If you don't want to be depressed by a TV show, Breaking Bad probably is not your cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It is a brilliantly written show, though. Like Bryan Cranston or whatever his name is does a just stellar job.
You mean Malcolm's dad?
Yeah, yes, Malcolm in the Middle. There was a really cool fanfic page that did its hardest to connect the two universes to say that it's still
Still, still
Malcolm in the Middle's dad or whatever.
nice,
Um,
very nice.
which I applaud that effort because I want to live in a world where those two shows are connected somehow.
I feel like the last show that I watched that was along those same lines, which I did watch all of the first season of, was the first season of True Detective, which was epic and very, very,
So
very good.
good.
Also very dark and kind of depressing.
Very dark. Yeah.
But I think like that's the thing for me, like knowing it was just like one was the 8 episode season or something. And then like there are I want to watch seasons 2 and 3, but knowing that it's like a new reset every season, like it's a little easier for me to bite off a chunk and be like, I'm gonna do it.
I was very interested in season 2, but never ended up watching it. And I've heard good things, but everybody seems to have the same opinion that one was the best, and it has not motivated me to like get into season 2. Though I have heard
Um,
good things about it.
I've heard decent things about the new season 3 too,
I
or
don't know if
as
I've heard
well.
anything about it other than it
Um,
exists.
yeah, it exists. I feel like it by the time season 3 came out, because it was really, really delayed. Basically, season 1 was all written, and I think all directed by like the show creator. Like he wrote out the entire series, all the episodes, and then season 2, he didn't quite feel ready, but they were pushing him, so he kept brought in like a writing staff and everything to kind of help him do it, and so it lost a lot of the touch, if you will. And so that was part of why they took like 2 or 3 years to do season 3, because he wanted to put it all together
I
and do it like he did
I
season 1.
applaud that. I wish they would do more of that, where they just let creators actually create their shows. I mean, obviously you have deadlines, and I think if you're a creative person, you need some sort of deadlines. Just because a lot of creative people will just go forever because it's never done. But I also hate when it's just like, no, you have to put this out for the sake of putting it out, and that never ends up well. It never does.
I am still waiting, and I know it will never ever happen, but I am still waiting for like the Netflix or Amazon Prime or whoever wants to do it and can get Square to sell the rights or give them the licensing agreement to make Chrono Trigger the limited run TV show. It's
I'm down.
perfect.
I'm
It's
down.
perfect.
I should probably finish that game someday.
Fantasy, sci-fi, space travel, or not space travel, time travel, which I guess is kind of space travel. Um, all of the above. Like it is a well plotted out series that you could easily turn into like a 3 season boom 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 done. And it would be fantastic. You'd have fanboys coming, if especially if it was well done and well
Yeah.
written, you'd have fanboys coming out of the woodwork to watch this thing.
Well, when it comes to
And
Square, like you instantly get your money back right there.
yeah.
Installing seatbelts on the couch, taking a Xanax to get through season 3. That's impressive. Well, I have been watching a little bit more TV given everything, so maybe I will put that. I think I'm through all the anime I wanted to get through once I finish off Dragon Ball Z, which should be probably
Did
tomorrow
you
or the
watch
next
One
day.
Punch Man yet?
I have not started One Punch Man.
Well, then you
I
haven't made it
don't
through all the
have
anime
the
yet.
English. I don't have the sub or the dubbed version of it. But that is next on my list to get through. But I do not have, and I think So on my list right now, and I don't know if I'm going to start up any more anime right this second because there's some other things I want to get through, but because when I get obsessed with it, I go crazy. But maybe I need to switch to Ozark for a while just to cleanse the palate. But I want to get through that, and I want to get through Sword Art Online. The newest season that we talked about was out, and I had no idea because a lot of that is already dubbed English as well, so I can watch through a good chunk of that.
And we have season 2 of High Score Girl coming up.
Yep, that is on my watch list. I will get notified. That's got to be soon, right? Is that tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's early April, so it's got to be pretty quick. I don't know
I
exactly.
think that might be tomorrow. If you like anime and you want some weird stuff that's gonna give you a lot of 80s nostalgia, especially around fighting games like Street Fighter, High Score Girl on Netflix is brilliantly done. I like that. I don't know if it's like S tier, but it's at least an A. It's up there. I really enjoyed it.
It's a very, very fun anime. Not too crazy. Not too not crazy.
I don't watch Parasite, so I probably should. We talked about that when it kind of got all its awards. Oh, I sent you this earlier too. Did you? We didn't really talk about it, but did you see the misprinted Teen Titans cover go on eBay for like 1.2 million or something? I don't know what the final. Yeah, price tag is 1.2 million dollars. It was a misprinting of Teen Titans, which actually was a Marvel book inside. It was Marvel's 2-in-1 74, but it was printed with a Teen Titans cover.
Basically, DC, like I'd heard about this before, but I've never like seen one going on eBay. But like that's crazy. But yeah, essentially DC was trying out some new printers to try to get some higher quality for printing for good pricing, and they went to some Canadian printer that normally does Marvel prints, and apparently they had some extra prints without covers of that Marvel book, and somehow they got in the wrong spot when they printed the covers for the Titans, and a bunch of Titans books went out with Marvel on the inside, which is crazy.
That
Can you imagine buying that and just being like, what the heck?
Yeah, I imagine how many of those probably got thrown away because they thought they were garbage or something. But apparently somebody held on to a copy, and this only has a 7.5 rating, which is high, but not
for like a 30-year-old comic. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
And yeah, this thing went for $1.2 million for a misprint. So,
hey, Teen Titans, especially back then, was pretty decent.
It better be the best. I mean, you're not getting that issue of Teen Titans. You're getting a issue of Marvel something. What do they call it? Marvel 2-in-1 74.
Yeah, which honestly, the 2-in-1s aren't that great. For some reason, the focus on the cameras
hates you.
Yeah.
Technical difficulty. The podcast. That's what we should. That's really what we should just call the podcast. We've been looking for a name. We should probably just call it technical difficulties.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah. So, yeah, $1.2 million for a comic book.
If you want to buy it now,
who bought? Like, is that bought by an investor? Because I can't imagine.
No,
is it a Teen Titan fanboy with too much money from Silicon Valley, or is it some kind of weird investor thing? Because to drop 1.2 mil on a comic book that isn't the comic book.
I mean,
who's buying that thing?
Just some comic fanboy who has money. I mean, that's really all it comes down to. First of all, has anybody bought it? Because listing it for that is not the same as somebody buying.
Oh, I thought somebody said it went for. Maybe it didn't.
The picture just shows a buy it now price.
Okay.
Which that doesn't really mean anything. But
see, there's an article.
If it goes.
Oh, this
and
is
then
one
within
of
the article it says other copies of the same issue are readily available on the marketplace for under $10.
Oh well, then.
But
yeah, so maybe it hasn't sold. So maybe this is just like a joke thing. I guess I didn't read through the article the way I thought I saw that it went for 1.2 million, but I didn't. Yeah, this looks like it's just somebody's trying to sell it for 1.2 million.
Yeah. No, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if with that rating, um, if a true like fanboy collector would probably throw down quite a few $1,000s for that. But like, I don't think anybody's going to pay 1.2 million for it.
It's definitely interesting, and I feel like as a comic book fan, I'm not a hugest Teen Titan fan, and I don't care about the Marvel book inside, so I don't have like a reason that I would want the book other than it's an anomaly and it's part of like comic book culture.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, without like a character driven behind it, like why would you ever pay that amount of money? Like I get why Superman, like the first appearance of Superman, goes for millions of dollars. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of technical difficulties, my light just went bonkers. Hold on a second. But like I get like first issue of Spider-Man, I get first issue of Superman. I don't understand why somebody would buy like a misprint for thousands of dollars or millions in this case. And probably any DC comic that has a Marvel comic inside would be the best version of the DC comic. So Matt, you're probably right there.
You guys are assholes. DC makes fantastic comics. You guys can get over it.
What was Humans? Was that the robot one? Matt said he watched Humans. Yeah, my wife was watching through that. I was interested, but I did not. It was a sci-fi show about like androids or something. Looked dramatic. Oh, what else you got, Ryan? I don't know if I got really anything else. We talked about all that stuff. Oh, the COVID release changes. So it looks like some official dates. I don't know if we covered some of this, but looks like Black Widow is November 6th. Eternals is pushed back to February 12th.
Yeah, basically all the Marvel releases have just the slots are still the same. They've just pushed all the movies back.
Yeah. So
which will be somewhat interesting because it means like next summer, like the big May push movie is going to be the Shang-Chi and the Legend one instead of Doctor Strange, which
goes back to November.
Yeah, but that I feel like of the like usually when Marvel puts out these new ones, especially when they're not exactly like your typical superhero ones,
they test them
they
off.
kind of like throw them either towards the end of the summer or in one of like the fall or spring slots. Like this was supposed to be in the spring, or the fall. Yes, February is where it was going to be. So neither, but at any rate, that was supposed to be kind of in that off-season one, and now it's going to get that big May spot. So I don't know if that's a sign that they just really trust the movie, or if it's just a pure admin sort of decision where they're like, "This is the way to just make this all work."
We just have to make it work.
Yeah,
I don't know, because that actually pushes Thor out of the Christmas slot too. Well, if you count the November 5th release, the Christmas slot, but I mean, it probably would have still been in for the Christmas season.
Probably.
Which is going to be big. It looks awesome. So what little we know of it so far, but so Doctor Strange is getting pushed November, then Thor is all the way to February, so almost a year from now, and then Black Panther and Captain Marvel 2, which goes all the way up to July of 2022. And other postponement news, we also our own C4 Comic Con in local area here is pushed back to October. So 30th. Halloween weekend or whatever. So all over the place. We're moving stuff everywhere. Movies are being moved, events are being moved. It's crazy town out there. Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe.
Call everybody you care about. Make sure they're okay. Make sure to ask if they need anything.
And yeah.
Trump bucks aren't going to go too far. It's all us banding together and watching out for each other. It's what's going to get us through the hard time. So there's your heartfelt message for the night. That's all I got. COVID
and
sucks.
Now you don't get any more feel good stuff.
I'm out. That was my quota. I don't get to feel good about anything.
Or as I like to just think, can say. Just don't suck at life.
That's so heartfelt. I didn't come here for this mushy bullshit. So it's great, Matt. Sorry, I will stop. I'm done.
Yeah, I keep feeling like I should have more things to talk about, but I really don't. Well, Wonder Woman is only pushed back to I think August at this point.
All right, I was
Is
gonna
what
look
they
that up
said.
because last time we talked, they were still on for the beginning of June, but so they did end up pushing back.
Yep, yeah, they ended up pushing it like almost like a day after we had our talk about it. Just looking through here as far as sci-fi fantasy movies. As of right now, looks like the June Pixar movie is still on. Mulan, that was supposed to come out in March, is now in July. Bill and Ted is at August 21st.
Why are they making that? I mean, I hope it's amazing, but why are
It,
they making that?
I have no idea. Hopefully, it is amazing. It would be fun if it was. Godzilla versus King Kong, which I think was supposed to be May, is November now. The James Bond is November. Dune is still in December. Top Gun, which was supposed to be this summer, is in December. And the third Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movie is Christmas.
I heard they were making one of those. I don't again necessarily know why. I hope it's good. I liked the other two. They
It's
were really good.
yeah. The first one was really good. The second one was not bad for a sequel. It was better than a lot of sequels are. January 15th is the new Mortal Kombat movie. So there you go. And I'll look forward to that.
Nobody's looking forward to that.
Um, Marvel and DC.
Oh, I watched some movies too. We could always talk about some of those.
Hold on here. So New Mutants has been postponed again with no release date.
That's sad.
Wonder Woman is August 14th. There is still a Sony untitled Marvel movie on October 2nd, which was originally supposed to be the Venom, and we don't really know what's going on with that now. And I don't see any date for Morpheus at this point. Or Morbus, never mind. It is now next March, March 19th of
Oh wow,
next year.
so
that got pushed a ways back.
way back. So I watched 3 movies too since the last time we talked. 4 movies. And I think they're all kind of relevant.
Do tell.
So 5 movies. So I watched Jumanji, which you had mentioned a couple episodes back. So Jumanji, the next level. It's fine, which I think is what you said. It's fine. Yeah. I don't think it's nearly as good as the first one.
And by the first one, are you saying the first one?
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yes, one? Robin Williams Jumanji is forever better than any of this stuff. But I had a lot of fun with the last one. So the just the remake with The Rock, sure. Took a couple years back or whatever it came out. We had a lot of fun with it. I didn't think it was a better movie by any means, but I had a lot of fun. This one is fun too, but it's completely rehashed. Like it's not inspired. It's fine. It's still fine. I also don't like Danny DeVito as a human. The stuff he acts in is usually quite good. Like, I don't know, Attack from Mars or whatever. Like, the stuff he's in is he's Penguin in the Batman movies. Like, yeah, fine as Penguin. I loved him as Penguin. Like, I liked. What's the? I'm Rainbow fucking Randolph. The
Death to Smoochie.
Death to Smoochie. It was so good.
It's a great
and he's
movie.
Great in that. Like, so I mean, like, it's fine, but he's in this.
He actually directed Death to Smoochie as well,
which is great.
You have to give him a little bit of credit for that. Even
I give him all sorts of credit for an actor, but when I see him in like interviews as like what's supposed to be him, he's terrible. Like he just feels like the most awful human being you've ever met. But anyway, that was fine. I watched Dr. Dolittle, which was terrible. Like I didn't like it at all. Like I didn't like his performance. I didn't like the movie. Like it just. Sorry, I don't know. I watch a lot of kids movies and I can appreciate them, and that one I just did not care for. Like I tried to. I watched Sonic, which we talked about a little bit. You said that was fine.
It was fine.
Um,
But what did you feel?
I think it's way better than it deserves to be.
Yes. Well, I'd agree with that. But to me,
So
that's still fine.
yeah, no, it's not. It's not winning any awards. But for a video game movie, so it already starts with a huge handicap, right? Like it's already a problem. The drama around the way, and I still stick to the theory that they did this on purpose as a marketing campaign. They screwed him up and released it just to have the internet go crazy on him, and then they were never actually planning to release him looking like that. I believe wholeheartedly that's a thing. But he looks fine in this with the remake. Jim Carrey's fine. He plays a decent Dr. Robotnik. I was actually impressed. I mean, he's totally Jim Carrey, so you're not
Yep.
getting anything not Jim Carrey out of him, but he does a good job. And it's just fun. It's fine. It's good. The kids have been watching it over and over as they tend to do, and I will say that it's way better than it should be. Like it's again not. It's not going to blow you away. It's not going on your top 10 list, but it is worth watching if you're at all interested in it, just because it's fun. Just sit back and have some fun with it. It's fine. And then the last two, which I don't know if you've seen, one's a kid movie. So this is Pixar, and it's Onward. Have you seen this movie?
I did.
Because you're crying, I'm not crying. Was exactly what I wrote on Facebook at the end of that movie. I really liked this movie.
It was very, very good. Very, very good. As most Pixar movies are, but there are some
Yep.
Pixar movies that are like Pixar good, and then that really Pixar good. And this is, I think, one of the really Pixar goods.
Yeah, I would put this up in top tier Pixar good. Pixar has a really good job of hitting heavy subjects, right? Like, and this gets heavy. Like, it's kid friendly. Kids can watch it. Ethan and I both cried watching it. But it's really good, and he loves the movie. He's watched it like 5 times since the first time we watched it, and like the animation's great, the story's great, like every bit. It's solid. It steps through. It just handles itself very well, and it hits some really heavy notes, which I really enjoy. Like cartoons should do that. Like cartoon is a great vessel to introduce heavy subjects to kids in a way that they can handle it without losing their mind. Because when you start talking about the death of parents and the struggle of an older brother versus a younger brother, and like that type of stuff, you can't just talk to a kid about. Like you can blow their mind away. But if you can give it to them in this format where it's still heavy and they can feel that, it's super important, I think. And we don't do that anymore, especially in this kind of world where we have to soften these blows and protect these kids too much. Like it's really nice to see a movie. This is one of the reasons, and I've said this a bunch of times, and people are weird about this, is How to Train a Dragon 2. Lots of people never even watched that movie because they just wrote it off as some weird sequel. And it's the best of the 3, for sure, by every single measure. And it has some really heavy threads in there about relationships with parents and parents who had split up for a while. And like, spoilers, the dad dies, and like it's this, there's epic scene that they just crush, and like you feel it. Like even as an adult, you feel that movie. And I love that. Like we need more and more and more of that in our kids movies. As much as I like the Sonics of the world, and it's fun to just have fun, like we should have those movies too. But
it's important to have both.
It's important to be able to share those moments with your children and have them be able to take that stuff in. So and have it done in a good way that lets them explore those feelings. And trust me, Onward does that in spades too. Like it is really well done. Like I highly recommend watching Onward. Just keep a box of Kleenexes because that end scene just is, it's good, it's uplifting, it's a great scene, but man, whew, right in the feels for days.
It does. It really does. And it was even up until that point, like that kind of hint that you're going to have some emotional stuff going on, but it's still, yeah, like you said, it still maintains like a light heart, and it's funny.
Yep.
It's really not too heavy, and even when it gets to that point at the end, like because they've done a lot of like put in a lot of time and effort kind of setting that moment up. It doesn't like
It's
it just
all about
it's
getting
not
to
like it
that.
just comes out of nowhere and
No.
hits you. It's like, oh, okay, this is all right. Yeah.
There is this weird strained relationship between two brothers. One is obviously older and helped raise the younger one, and not to get into crazy spoilers, but that relationship is almost the entire movie of building these two characters out and explaining their relationship and showing their ups and downs. And it's not spoilers because it's all in the trailers and everything, but they're trying to get their dad back with this. There's a journey they have to go on. The dad's been dead, and it's heavy, but then it all culminates in this one huge epic ending scene that pays off the entire trip in spades. Like, it without the trip, the ending doesn't work. Without the ending, the trip doesn't work. It's perfectly, like, just it all feeds right into that moment, and they hit you hard with it. It's good. Like, I'll give it total props. I don't even care if it's a kids movie or not. Like, it crushes. It's good. I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
And then on a totally separate note, other than
Your number 5, give it to us.
Maybe we should have saved that one for last because I'm all worked up about that movie. And I thought another fun movie. Don't expect anything too amazing from this, but I watched Bloodshot.
Oh, you saw? I did not see it before they shut down the theaters. Which
So it's out in digital now. They just
is it?
they kind of just threw it out. Oh, well, at least I might have a copy. I'm pretty sure it was on Amazon or something. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Don't listen to me. But I have seen it. Regardless, totally legal, I'm sure. However, I did it, and it's fine. It's fine. It's probably everything you would expect from a Bloodshot comic. It's Vin Diesel for sure. The movie's got a decent twist, but if you know the twist at all to like the comic book or the trailers, probably have given away some of that too. I didn't really watch a lot of the trailers. Then you may know the twist already, but they do a good job with it. And Guy Pearce is the villain, who I absolutely love. That guy. He was the villain in Iron Man 3, and he's the Memento guy, which Memento is a just great, brilliant movie. And so he does a good job, even though he's not in it a ton. Like, he's a decent amount, but he does a great job. And Vin Diesel's Vin Diesel, and the comic relief guy they have in the movie is pretty good and funny. So it's good.
I'm kind of hoping / expecting, since it was in the theaters. Oh, you just froze up on me.
Well,
are you still there?
I'm fine on my side. So
in any case, yeah, like I've kind of didn't watch it, and when this all went down, as far as everything shutting down, I just kind of assumed that with all the movies getting canceled, that when the theaters do reopen, it will still be there, because there's not exactly a whole lot of new things to take its place. And it was only out for like a week before the local theater shut down.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not surprised if they did put it on the digital already, because it wasn't exactly lined up to be a big blockbuster movie anyways.
Yeah, it's on Prime Video, looks like. Yeah, I mean, when you do get a chance to watch it, it's worth it. It's I guess what it really suffers from, and maybe it's not even the fault of the movie. It's obviously not a gigantic budget movie. Like, they put a lot into the effects and stuff for sure. Somebody spent some money on this, but as far as the writing goes, it's an origin story, and origin stories tend to be weak sauce to a certain extent anyway.
They're kind of stuck in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like, it's just what you would expect from an origin story. So I honestly think it'd be interesting to watch like a sequel to this, where they kind of get out of their box and explore what he might be as an actual character. I don't know if that's worth them doing or not. It's kind of a weird character in that he's kind of, if people don't know, is it Valiant? Who does Bloodshot? It's either Valiant or Variant, or I forget which one. Valiant, I think. But Bloodshot is basically a Punisher style character who, like, he uses a lot of guns, shoots a lot of people. He's an ex-military guy who's got a bunch of nanites in his blood, so like think about Wolverine's healing power and stuff, where you can like kind of come back together after being shot and blown up. So, um, he has that ability, and that's pretty much this is his origin story of how he gets there. And it's like I said, it's fine. So those are the 5 movies I think. I think next up on my movie list I have 1917 and Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
That is Daniel Radcliffe's.
Oh, I did hear about that.
He like wakes up and they have somebody that's stitched guns in his hand, and he's got to like survive this. I don't know if it's a game or like whatever it is. He gets thrown into this thing where he's got a battle like gladiator style, and he's got pistols like stitched to his hands, so he doesn't have hands. It's like really weird. Daniel Radcliffe has been doing only the weirdest movies he can find since Harry Potter, and I applaud him for that. It's fine.
Very true. And even when he's in a not so weird movie, he's playing the weirdest part in the movie. I think I'm thinking of Can You See Me 2 or whatever the.
I don't know if I watched that. Is that the magic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever watched the second one.
It was not as good as the first one, but it was still a pretty decent movie.
That seems
it's
like
a normal thing. It's a normal thing. Yeah. Very rarely do you have a How to Train a Dragon 2 or a Spider-Man 2 or an X-Men 2 or other things.
Have we seen his show Miracle Workers? I have not. Don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I have not. I don't think I've heard of it either.
And that's I have not seen it. Second season was awesome. Miracle Workers. Why not? Let's Google it.
Look it up. See what's there.
Oh, this is the weird is it the Knights? Like he's a king or something? Or is that something else? Miracle Workers Dark Ages. Yeah. I have seen a trailer for this somewhere. I have no idea about any of it, but it's good to know it's worth something. I will maybe check it out. I have no idea. There's we live in the best age ever when it comes to television content, because there's so much good stuff being produced. You know, if you're my age, I grew up with over-the-air television and 3.5 channels because Fox didn't always come in depending on how the weather was blowing. And you know, you only had a couple time slots a night that got filled with some weird syndicated sitcom or something. And now we live in this world where just the craziest of stuff gets made, and that's brilliant because I love it. Like, think about the show Happy. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Happy. That show is bonkers. That show would have never been made back in the 80s and 90s. There's no way.
Never.
And we made weird stuff in the 80s, but like you had to fight for time slots. But now all sorts of weird channels and streaming services just put out all sorts of awesome stuff that's like that show looks weird as heck. Just looking at some of the pictures and remembering some of the trailers I think I caught for it. So so we definitely, it's a time to be live. Sure. At least if you like this kind of nerdy weird stuff like we do.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff that like even 15 years ago would have just been mind-blowing.
Unless that thing is Picard.
Well,
then we live in the worst time to be alive. Unless you're a Star Trek fan, and then the last 3 years or so have been the worst time to be alive. To be fair, Matt, you and I have a lot of chats about lots of Star Trek in the past. You like everything, and I commend you for that. Good. I hate Picard almost as much as I hate Star Trek Discovery. To be fair, I have not finished Picard. I have not been able to sit down and watch the last 2 episodes. I'm trying my hardest to build up the the want to do that. But Star Trek Discovery is the worst thing I've ever seen in Star Trek, period. And I've watched like the Renegade fan made film. Uh and then Picard has been better, but it is very bad. It is very, very bad. I have heard a couple people say the ending almost makes it worth watching. So I'm hoping I will sit down and watch these last two episodes. Ah, but I'm scared because I think Picard is terrible, and I want it more than just about anybody. Like I really do, but it's bad. It's so bad.
If only people, I don't know, who understood Star Trek made Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, like what's the guy's name who makes this show?
Is it Alex, whatever?
Da 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 da. Who knows? They don't even put his name on the credits because they know it's so bad.
It's Alex something.
Da 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 da. Dead Air Sweet.
Are we talking about
Kurtzman. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That guy doesn't understand Star Trek ever for anything. Like he
Listen,
just doesn't get what Star Trek is at all. He's never watched the show. He doesn't get it. He's watched like one movie and it was probably one of the J.J. Abrams movies. Which he might have worked on some of those, didn't he? Like
although Michael Chabon was the Picard showrunner, not Alex. Alex did the Discovery.
oh, I thought he had something to do with this show too, but
He's probably a producer on it. He's
yeah, I think
producing all the Star Trek stuff.
I'm pretty sure he had something to do with like running, like yeah, like executive producing this stuff. Anyway, it's terrible. I've been on that soapbox for like 10 episodes of this podcast though, so we don't have to rehash it, but I just saw it on a list for something and it got me upset again. Alrighty.
Lovely. I will give Alex Kurtzman this one thing. He was part of the Fringe pilot setup. And then he very quickly left everything to do with Fringe. But I give him credit for that.
Fringe was a fantastic show for a while. I think it lost its way. Is that an Abrams thing?
It was an Abrams thing.
Right.
And I disagree that it lost its way. I do think that Fox screwed it in the butt. But
oh, really? Very specifically. I really enjoyed Fringe. Really, really enjoyed it when it first came out. If Mindy's still watching, I think she really enjoyed that show too. I think we had some bonding time over that show. But I don't know if I definitely did not finish that show. Like sometime after season 3 or something, I lost. I made it through the Leonard Nimoy stuff, which was awesome because Leonard Nimoy's awesome. But I did not make it to the end.
Final season then.
I did not watch the final season for sure.
Basically, season 4 was where a lot of people lost it, like left it, which was where there was kind of like a reset, and it was by no means the entire season, but there were a few episodes towards the beginning of it where they kind of rehashed some of the episodes from the first season, but like from a different perspective because of the reset, blah 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 that happened without giving away any sort of spoilers.
10-year-old spoilers.
10-year-old spoilers. Because that is a show that I will stand on and say everybody should watch, and I will not spoil it if I can help it. But season 5 was really what should have been like a final season in like season 8 or season 7 with like a few more seasons to kind of breathe. Because I really, really, really liked season 4, and where season 4, the last episode was kind of dumb, but like everything leading up to the end of season 4, I really enjoyed and I really liked, and I was really looking forward to more Fringe. And with the final season that they did, they basically did a major time jump to try to end the series the way that they originally intended to end the series. But there was just the time jump was a cool idea, and they kind of introduced the idea of it like a few episodes towards the end of season 4. But you could definitely feel like it was a shortened season. So like the first 4 seasons were all like 22 episode seasons or 21 episode seasons, and season 5 was only 13 episodes, so it was a shortened one. So you kind of tell they were rushing things through. They did a good job of wrapping up most of, if not all of the plot lines, but some of those plot lines that they wrapped up kind of felt like they were never fully fleshed out the way they were intended, which is where I'm like, it would have been nice to have a few more seasons in there. Um, but yeah, it's really good. Yeah, Fringe. Watch Fringe if you haven't watched Fringe. That's all I'll say.
They definitely don't make 22 episode seasons anymore. That it's
Not
long
unless it's a
gone.
sitcom.
That almost basically died with the writer's strike, didn't it? Like a lot of that.
Sitcoms still have 20 some odd episode seasons. Um, all the DC superhero shows still have 22 odd some odd seasons. All of your NCIS and cop procedurals are all still 20 some odd
Yeah, those are
seasons.
gross.
But all of our genre stuff is pretty much smaller because
all the golden age television stuff like ever is all 10. It's typically 10, about give or take a couple episodes.
Yeah, basically all the stuff that has either a specific audience or a high cost to produce, so aka fantasy and sci-fi, uh, is all like, yeah, it's all small now.
The Expanse.
Expanse, yeah, it's what was it, 10, 13, 13, 13 now? That's what they're doing episodes on that.
Yeah, it seems to be like 13 or something. Expanse is whew, so good. We talked about that a lot though, but
a lot. Every episode we talk about Expanse.
But if you're gonna bring up a fairly expensive, well done sci-fi show, woo-wee, now that's worth watching. Don't watch Picard, but go watch The Expanse.
Yeah. See, I am back and forth. I've been bouncing back and forth between books and TV show on it, which I like the books. I watched the TV show for like the first 2 seasons before I read any of the books, and then I read the first 3 books, which took me through past where the TV show was at the same point, and then now I have to read the 4th one. But I've watched. Actually, I think I still have 2 or 3 episodes of season 4 to watch yet. In any case, I've gotten ahead in the show again now, so I'll get the books out and start going through there from 4 on. They're really good. The books are amazing. The show is amazing, but the books are freaking amazing.
Did I tell you I also watched Zombieland Double Tap?
You did not, but that was the only Zombieland movie that I've seen.
That's a bummer. It's not as good.
That's what I've heard. It wasn't bad, but it was.
I didn't hate it at all. It's fine, but I also didn't like it as much as the first one.
I could see where like a movie like that in its original format could have been super amazing, where this was good but not fantastic.
So part of the reason number one is so good is you don't expect it, right? So you watch the commercials or whatever, you go watch it in the theater and you're thinking, oh, this is a zombie movie. It's got a little comedy twist. And it's so much better than any of that with all the sum of its parts. Mm-hmm. It is funny, but it's also a zombie movie, but it's also good writing, good characters, well acted. Like, and all that stuff is probably pretty true for the second one, but you know it's coming. So, like, part of the love I have for the first one is that I didn't really see it coming. And even though I've watched it multiple times, the first one, and I enjoy it every time, but it's because it harks back to that feeling I had when I first watched it. And it's tighter than this one, I feel. This one's kind of a sloppy movie compared to that one.
Sure.
But hey, Die Hard, thanks for the lurk. Appreciate the support there. And yeah, so 2 is fine. Like, if you like the first one and you're bored, watch the second one. It's great. It's fine. But it is not probably the best scene for me is the after credits scene. So spoilers, the Bill Murray after credit scene is actually a flashback to before while the zombies are breaking out, and it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the second one's fine. So I did watch that too. So I guess that was the 6th movie I've watched. Probably I've been busy boy.
I feel like I originally grabbed my phone because I was going to see what movies I had seen. Does my app even work anymore? It's gone.
Nothing works anymore.
The whole world is falling apart, and that's why you should go to the bank and take out all your money.
I already did that. Put it in gold and Bitcoin. We are not financial
Especially
advisors.
Bitcoin.
Do not listen to us. We
Do
have
not
no.
listen to
We have
anything
no
we're saying.
legal.
My friends who work at banks will say, "Do not ever do what I just said."
Well, of course they lose their job.
Also say that they will also say that it's
Was the platform? I don't even know what the platform is. Great Matt says that is the only movie he's watched.
The platform
Looks like a horror movie.
So yeah,
it's in Spanish.
Oh, there you go. So pretty much, I've seen Onward, and then I saw Emma, which is just a Jane Austen movie, straightforward. It was okay. We don't have to talk about that. Probably shouldn't talk about that.
We won't talk about that because I don't want to.
Yeah, nobody wants to.
Okay, well, we stumbled through another. What episode is this? Are we on 9?
Making it 9.
Yeah. 9, episode 9, if you count our pilot episode, which I do. I absolutely do. We're almost at 10. What are we gonna do for episode 10? We should probably just do it, and people should be happy that we actually made a 10th one.
Maybe we'll have to have like a guest or something.
We have been trying. I've been trying to line up a guest. I would not mind having a guest. We should just have a guest. Who cares who it is? We'll figure it out. We'll do something. I don't know. Maybe we won't do anything. As long as we show up, we'll be winning. Hopefully, I'll have the Zoom stuff figured out.
Line up a guest and then not have them actually on the show when the time comes.
I'll like phone in a dummy person in the middle. That'd be fun. Yeah, a rando. Perfect. Who's on the street? We're not supposed to be in the street. We're supposed to be locked in our house. How am I supposed to find a rando on the street? Matt Damon. No, cancel him.
I would like to take this moment to remind everybody that what Jimmy Kimmel did with Matt Damon forever was originally done by Bill Letterman and Norm Macdonald back in the 90s, and it was way better. But anyway,
well, Norm Macdonald is awesome, so that's no doubt. Whatever he does is better than anything most anybody else people do.
So here's a final 5 minutes of talking, and by 5 minutes I mean 1 minute. What I have been watching.
Yeah, I don't know what Letterman he's talking about, but it is David Letterman.
Oh, Dave! I don't know why I said Bob. Who the heck? Why the hell did I say Bob?
I was just gonna let it go.
You should have called me on that because that was dumb. Yeah, it's Dave Letterman. I don't know where the hell Bob came from.
I was gonna say you said Bill.
I said Bill Letterman. Wow. Okay, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Apparently. All this to say, over the last 2 weeks while I've been stuck in the house, one of the things I have been doing is watching like old clips and interviews and stuff. See, now I'm having brain fart for names, but Norm Macdonald. Been watching old Norm Macdonald stuff, and I just forget how hilarious he is and how amazing he is. And I don't really forget. I just forget how much he is fantastic. And that's all I have to say. So if you're bored, watch our last 8 episodes. It'll fill up like a week of your time. And then when you're done with that, watch Norm Macdonald clips on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald is brilliant as a comedian. I like him a lot. And Dirty Work is one of my all-time favorite comedy movies. It is super funny. And yeah, that's where it goes. Like, it's so good.
In fact, here's my one recommendation that you look up. Is you go on YouTube and you watch his intro to Saturday Night Live when he was the guest host for Dirty Work. And it was like a year after they fired him. And his intro, like little stand-up bit, is fantastic.
Monologue or whatever.
Monologue, yeah. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
That's good. I'll have to watch that because I don't know if I remember that. That's brilliant. Dirty Work is super good. All right, what else do we got, Ryan? It's pretty much time to wrap this bad boy up. You got anything? I don't even have reading recommendations. I haven't read anything.
In all of this time sitting around the house, I have not read anything other than the screen of this or my Xbox.
I'll grab something.
Oh my gosh.
What
is it?
Every tool's a hammer. Don't read. Here's your recommendation. Don't read. I honestly really enjoyed the Neil Gaiman. I actually read through this, the North mythology kind of. He redoes the ancient Norse mythology stories with his kind of voice. So like they're the legit stories. He doesn't spin them, but like he just kind of puts his voice to it. And actually, this audiobook, if you get it, is actually read by him too. So
it's amazing.
this isn't super long. If you like Viking stuff and you want to hear about like actual old school Thor and everything, that's a great book. Just to read through those old stories and listen about Thor smashing mountains and stuff. So Loki and those type of stories.
I agree. I was looking to see if I had anything handy in this particular bookcase over on this side that nobody gets to see. And I don't have anything cool to share, so.
That sounds good to me. I have not been drinking this episode, but I probably should have been. Probably would have been a better
I
one.
also haven't been. Well, I've been drinking water, but that doesn't count. So.
I also drink water, but stay hydrated, people.
My fanboyness right there.
So. Mine's kind of fanboy. AWS, Jeff Bezos, send me some money.
Oh, nice.
Posture
Marvel,
check.
send me money. You've got plenty.
All right, that's it. We're going to call it there. We've been at this for almost 2 hours. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Reminder, all the links below in the panel. So if you want to watch this later and check out previous episodes, they're all on YouTube. So there's a YouTube button down there. And there are links to my Instagram and my Twitter. Twitter is probably the best place where I update most often. Some of the people that have been here, also, I have my personal Facebook. You'll see stuff on there too. But go follow my Twitter too. It's fun. It's fine. And
come back every night this week to see if we're playing Pirates again.
Pirates of the not Caribbean, because we don't give a suit.
Not
no.
Caribbean.
Yes, we probably will play some more Pirates.
David,
and it's fine. I like it.
It's possible.
I have it ready to go whenever we want to.
Let's do it right now.
And yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll have another half-baked episode of me and Ryan talking for 2 hours. So come back and chat with us, and we'll have a good time. Drop that Twitch Prime if you got it. Great Matt gave us one tonight. That helps a lot.
Woo, woo.
Keep us going and give us some really cool emotes.
It is neato.
The more subs we get, the more emotes, which is actually the whole reason I started this, so I can have my own Twitch emotes. That's all I wanted. So I appreciate it. We'll do some board game stuff at some point too, and maybe we'll stream a night where we play Terraforming Mars app or something. So keep an eye out for all that stuff, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out, folks.
Bye-bye.